my husband was struggling with the fact that we are pregnant first. Those are separate problems from mine. My problem is this baby okay? Jock told me, here's how we are going to do this. First, she asked me, if you find out the child has a condition, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. Right now, all I know is I would like to know. She messages me in the morning and she tells me, congratulations, check your mail. Aki, I cried. Oh, it was the best news I've ever had because I was saying, how is it possible? Like me? Why me? I wasn't trying. I wasn't trying to get pregnant. I think I'd even made peace with the fact that it's not going to happen. I'm perimenopausal.
Would you recommend this test for expecting mothers, especially those who are at an advanced age?
This test, I feel, it should be a standard procedure. In advanced countries, it is part of policy. Like you have to. It is not a recommendation, it's a requirement.
Pregnancy is often described as a time of joy and anticipation, but for some, it is filled with fear, anxiety, and the echoes of a heartbreak, more so after previous pregnancy or infant losses. Today's guest opens up about navigating pregnancy in her mid-40s and after the unimaginable loss of not one, but 2 pregnancies. I'm Dr. Mercy Korir, and my guest today is Wahu Kagwi, Mama Girls. Thank you for doing the interview with us.
My
so
pleasure.
Let's start from the beginning. You are past 40. You've been trying for a baby.
I'm 18. What do you mean?
Okay.
Anyway, huh?
And you've been trying for a baby, and then here you find out you're pregnant. What's going through your mind at that point?
So what's going through my mind at that point is, I don't know whether to be excited or not. Why? Because I had lost 2 previous pregnancies. And I had been told that I'm in perimenopause, so this is consistent with my age. And so at this point, when I find out I'm pregnant, first of all, I had no idea. I thought ilikuwa 2 signs are perimenopause. Like I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling what. I find out I'm pregnant. I can't be too excited because I don't know if I'm going to carry the baby. I think that was my first thing. So I can't tell too many people because I'm also just anxious. So that's what's going through my mind when I find out.
So when you visited your doctor, what conversation were you having with him at that time?
So what was interesting is I had a performance in Meru. And when I was traveling to Meru, so the morning of the travel to Meru is when I found out I was pregnant. And so I get to Meru at about 5 p.m. and it's a Saturday. The first thing I think is to call my doctor, Omondi Ogutu, Prof. I call him, I say, Doc, I think I'm pregnant. Then he tells me, Sasa, you're in Meru. And I'm in Nairobi. Tunasaidiana aje. Kuja Nairobi alafu, whatever. So at that point, he tells me okay.
There's nothing we can do.
You're in Meru. I'm in Nairobi. And so when I come back, we finish the performance. I'm in a daze through the performance, but nobody needs to know that. I'm on stage, I'm doing my thing, get off. Me and my husband are looking at each other like this, like we are too old for this. What are we doing going back to diapers? I'm like, I don't know. So we come back to Nairobi and the first thing I do is book an appointment to go see Ogutu. And I'm like, oh, how are we moving with this? And I think at that point, I don't even know how pregnant I was because I wasn't expecting to be pregnant. I wasn't keeping tabs of missing my period. If I missed my period, I'm like, okay, perimenopause, so here I am and I'm like, I don't know. My biggest concern is this baby healthy? Is this pregnancy healthy? Because before I had lost the pregnancies because what I would be told that there were first trimester losses. So what I'd be told is, it happens, it's natural. It means maybe the baby was not going to be able to make it in life or whatever it is, maybe hormones, I don't know. Yeah, so here I am in a place where I'm like, I need to know what is this baby healthy? But I think, or am I going to carry this baby? I don't know. You get? So the doctor now, the conversation we're having at that time is, if it's going to make you more at ease, we can test and see what the DNA and how this baby is. And I say, okay, I definitely want to test. I had never had of that kind of test before, ever. The only experience I had before with pregnancy was inaitwa nini? Scans.
The usual
things you
scans,
do,
yeah.
just the usual medical things that you do. That's the only experience. So I'd never had of a test to see if especially at first trimester, yeah. So we start looking at options, and I'm like, just tell me where to do this test. And at the same time, I'm having a conversation with one of my very close friends, excuse me, who's based in Europe, in Austria. And she tells me it is a standard test in Europe to do this blood work, to check the profile of the baby, the health of the baby, because their healthcare system is just very, very different from ours. It's in a different place.
At that point, did you know it was a blood test, or what kind of test do you think was going to be done?
I had no idea what kind of test it is. I just needed feedback because I'm like, I need to know. I just need to know. I needed to know, number one, will I be able to carry this pregnancy? What is my hormonal whatever? So I did that and I seemed healthy. Now the baby, I don't know. So I needed to know what that is. So doc gives me options here and there, and then
what were the costs when he gave you those options?
No, the costs were crazy because there was a place where he told me it was going to come to like 120,000, and I'm like, how for a test? 120,000. In my head, I'm like, who's ever able to afford this, And I was willing to do it because for me it was very important to know, But at the same time, I'm like, my goodness, like that is not fair that it is this expensive yet this important,
Was it because of the previous experiences of having lost pregnancies that had you determined to do this NIPT test?
What made me want to do the test was because I was concerned about my age and being in my 40s. And what the information that I had before is, as you get older, the chances of getting a child with some kind of complication or the other goes up, or some kind of risk goes up. So I'm like, that was my concern. Not because I had lost before. So I'm like, I'm in my mid-40s at that point, and I'm like wanting to know, is my child going to be okay? Based on my age and based on the fact that I've been told that as you grow older, that it may be more risky to have a child. So that's why, a child with an issue. So that's why I wanted to do the test.
And how was it doing the test?
So what happened was, first of all, Prof. Ogutu now refers me to another doctor, Catherine, who now this is her area, one of the things that she does, And I'm like, thank you. I was pushing everybody. I'm like, it's Saturday, I know, Atani Sunday, I know, I'm aware, but kindly, this is urgent. I know for you it's just another day and you're like, please, I don't work on Sundays, but kindly help me out. You know, I was quite pushy because I guess also my anxiety was quite high. So Doc introduces me via email to Doc. Ogutu introduces me to Catherine. And so what she does is she writes for me a very detailed outline of what the test is. The test is called NIPT. And so she gave me a very detailed write-up on what it is. She gave me links to look at. She gave me a lot of information. So what NIPT in essence is it's actually blood work. So they check. So which was interesting for me because I'm like, the baby's DNA is just randomly floating in my blood. Like, really, you're not going to get to the baby. You're just going to check my DNA. And she's like, no, unless we need to. The first thing we're going to do is check your blood. I'm like, okay. Now I know that the toy's DNA is somewhere in my nini.
Bloodstream.
In my bloodstream, yeah. So with the write-up, I say, how soon are you available so that we can do this test? And so she booked me in, sat with her again. She walked me through what to expect. First, we had a conversation around my family history. She checked my husband's history and my history in terms of what pre-existing conditions are there. She asked about diabetes. She asked about, has anybody, I can't remember, but she asked a lot of information. She was trying to get to what diseases are in this family. And she was asking many, many questions. So understanding my parents, my siblings, my grandparents, my husband's siblings, all that, like what are the health things. I guess that's the first line to understand, right? After that, it was blood work, right? And I literally sat and she put, I can't remember, but it was blood, like draw some blood.
Just like you would be doing for any other regular check.
Any other test. So draw some blood. And with that sample, she's able to take it to the lab and they can understand what the DNA profile of this child is. Now we're checking for different diseases that my concern is anything that could be life-threatening or a condition that I need to know about. So those are the things that we were checking. That's what NIPT does.
And how many weeks were you at that point in time?
I have no idea. But I think I was either 10 or 12 weeks. I was
so still within the first trimester.
Yeah, so even when we talked, I remember she was saying, we need to do this within the first trimester. I was either 10 or 12 weeks. I can't quite remember. And so she said, this will take about 7 days. The results will come back in about 7 days. Shipping the sample to, I think it was London to get that's where the center is, yeah? Then she'll get the results. So what Doc told me that here's how we are going to do this. First, she asked me, if you find out the child has a condition, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. Right now, all I know is I would like to know. Then from there, we shall see what to do. You get, so she said, how this is going to work, it takes 7 days. She will be the first person to get the results because she's the doctor who has requested the lab work, right? She will get the results. We shall both, the way that is like tracking, eh? Have you ever ordered something from Maju? The way you can track where it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so that test, you can literally track, haya tumemaliza hii stage, sasa tuko hapa. They're not giving you the end result, but they're just telling you how we are progressing along. She's like, that's how that works, right? She will get the results. Then she said, if I give you a call and tell you, please come to my office, let's talk, that means there's something that we have seen that requires us to have a conversation so that we can know, are we going to test further or is this, we can know what the next steps are, but it is something that the test has brought up and we need to address. If she calls me and says, congratulations, check your mail for your results, everything is okay. I said, Father God, help me, Jesus, at this point.
How was those 7 days?
Wow. Those 7 days, hey, they were the most, is the word nerve-wracking? Because you don't know what's going to happen. It was such a difficult 7 days. What I remember is the results were coming in on a Sunday. The 7 days was showing on a Sunday. So me, I'm here, I'm seeing the blood work has gone. I'm tracking because I just have to track. Blood work tumefika hapa. We are at now 50% done testing. We are now at 70%. I'm like, oh my God. I'm so anxious.
So you have to wait for the results. How did you cope with that time? Like, what are you doing within those 7 days as you're waiting for the test results to come in?
What do you do? I don't know what I was doing. I was talking to my sisters. I was talking to my best friend. My husband was struggling with the fact that we are pregnant first. So I can't talk to him because it's going to give him more pressure. Because he is like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Me, I'm like, those are separate problems from mine. My problem is this baby okay? Wewe sijui kama ni counseling utaenda. Me, I'm going to look for support where I can. So I'm calling my best friend who is in Europe at the time. She's like, you're going to be fine. Wahu, you have a community around you. I'm like, you, which community are you? And you're all the way in Europe. How are you helping me? So I talked to my sisters. So they'd send me verses. I would walk. They'd send me songs to listen to. I would, I just needed so much distraction. Alafu hiyo Sunday. The Sunday the results were coming. It was in the morning, like morning, Sunday morning. My results are not, like I know this on Saturday night that my results are coming on Sunday morning. Because when I say sasa tumefikisha sijui 90% nini, I'm like Sunday. I could not sleep. I was wide awake like most of the night. I was just on social media, keeping myself busy and whatever. Sunday morning, because Doc, remember, has told me, I will either send you a message saying, come to my office tomorrow, we need to talk, or I'll tell you, congratulations, check your mail.
So those are the words ringing in your mind.
I'm like, what's going to happen? What is Doc going to tell me? So mimi niko WhatsApp, because even if I'm checking now, na sasa imefika 100% wamemaliza. Sasa wanajua. Sasa Doc pia anajua. She messages me in the morning and she tells me, congratulations, check your mail. Aki, I cried. Oh. I cried. I was so happy. I couldn't believe. It was, what? It was the best news I've ever had, because I was saying, how is it possible? Like, me? Why me? I wasn't trying. I wasn't trying to get pregnant. I think I'd even made peace with the fact that it's not going to happen. I'm perimenopausal. Excuse me. Thank you. Congratulations, check your mail. And so I checked my mail. Up to now, I still check that mail. I still have that email. And they said, we've checked for this. She doesn't have. We've checked for this, the baby is okay. We've checked for this, the baby is okay. Me. I wasn't trying. I wasn't. Me, I'd even told God, it's okay, thank you. I already have 2 kids. I'm okay. There's someone out there who doesn't have one. Help them. Mi nimejaribu to move on. Everything was okay. Huh? So they say the chances of this child being 100, like being normal, unajua hawezi kusema 100%, I think for legal purposes, but wanasema 99.9. Huyu mtoto ako sawa, 99.9%. The child is okay. The child is okay, 99.9%. Me, I was still in disbelief. Alafu wanakuuliza, do you want to know the gender? I said, hell yeah, I want to know the gender. So they start now. It's like a gender reveal on email. Like, oh, hi, mom. It's so cute. The way they do it, it is so cute. They're like, hi, mom. I know you're probably wondering. Sijui what. Alafu wanafanya countdown, 10, 9. I can't wait to see you in 9 months. It is the cute. Yeah, the whole time I'm just crying. And 3, 2, 1. Alafu pink.
Oh,
it is I am a girl. And I say, I am a girl. Ninalia sasa na makamasi sasa. It's not a cute cry. Not a cute cry. Niko oh my God. The saddest thing is I can't share my joy with my husband because he's still stressed.
He's still struggling.
At that point, you're still like really going through it. But me, I text my sisters. I text my best friend.
We're having a girl.
Yes. So that was such a blessing. I think just being able to know, it helped me mentally also to just be at peace. I don't want to say I was okay the whole time because I think nilikuwa bado na imposter syndrome. So I kept going to check. Are you sure?
Are you sure this is?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Naenda wananifanya hiyo inaitwa nini?
The scan.
The scan. The doc kept telling me, angalia hivi, the gap, because they check the gap here, they check which connection where they're like, this baby is fine. The gap here is fine. The mini here is fine. I'm like, Yani, for sure. Like, this baby is fine. Yeah. So that was, just taken me back to a very emotional time in my life.
Was this cry at that point a sigh of relief, or was it joy, or was it just a mixed bag of emotions?
It was joy. It was joy. It was pure joy. Remember, I'd already resigned myself to, this is not going to happen. I also realized I had not dealt with the loss I had had before. I had lost 2 other pregnancies. I had not dealt with that mentally. I had not gone for counseling. I had not gone for anything. And now I'm here. I'm being told you're fine and you're carrying a baby that is going to be viable for life. So it was a sigh of joy. I don't want to say that removed all the anxiety from me, but it definitely gave me a good level of peace. Yeah.
Okay. Did getting those results at that point influence or affect your pregnancy journey from that point on?
Yeah, definitely it did, because I was more relieved. I think the whole idea of, I tried to imagine waiting for 9 months without really knowing, vis-a-vis waiting for 9 months with knowing. For me, it is made the world of a difference, because I would have been anxious for 9 months as compared to being anxious for 7 days. So it made a huge difference in the quality of my pregnancy as well.
So say the results weren't positive. How do you think you would have handled it? Because I'm sure there are women who get, come to my office the next day, we have a conversation.
It would have been devastating. It would have been very devastating. It would have been difficult. Because a life that has formed in your womb is a life, and you're attached to that life as a mother. So it would have been very difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
But would it have still been worth knowing, regardless of what the results would have been?
For sure. It definitely worth knowing. Like for me, I said, I would rather know so that I can be mentally, whether it's mentally prepared, or at the very least make a decision based on information, not just on hope. I'm able to make a decision based on this is the reality. This is your reality. How do you want to move forward? That gives you a better way to know the right decision for you. So it would have been devastating, but I wouldn't do it any other way. Yeah.
Would you recommend this test for expecting mothers, especially those who are at an advanced age, say mid-40s or, almost hitting 50?
Yani, this test, I feel, should be part of it should be a standard procedure. I think it should be a standard procedure to be able to help the mother know. Is it something I want to move forward with? What are the implications if I move forward? Financially, mentally, all that. Move forward with information, It's so unfortunate that so many women don't have access to this kind of testing to understand what their reality is. Yeah, in advanced countries, it is part of policy. Like you have to. It is not a recommendation. It's a requirement that you have to have these tests done. Why? Because their healthcare system works, and the healthcare system wants to know how much they're going to spend on this child. Yeah. They want to understand, and they want you also as the mother to get the support that you need, and the information that you need to make a decision that works for you. Are you able to carry forward with this pregnancy? Are you able? Do you want to not? And people will make decisions based on different things, based on religion, based on faith, based on finances, based on so many other things, based on what they believe, their ethics and all that. And I think there's no one fits all solution. Everybody has the right to know, and everybody should make a decision based on what they believe. You have been given the information. Okay, what do I religiously or spiritually feel? What are my ethics? What's my financial position? All these things. What's my relationship position? What's my age also? All these different things, so that you make a decision. You say, I'm making this decision based on all these things, and I'm able to, or no, I'm not able to. Yeah.
How was this pregnancy experience compared with your first two children?
So interestingly enough, my pregnancy was actually quite smooth. Yani, that again was my imposter syndrome. I'm like, excuse me, God, I don't know if we're on the same page, but you remember my age? I should be having diabetes or high blood pressure or something, some kind of challenge. Yeah. Every time, like there's a place where you can check next to my house for diabetes. I bought the pressure machine because, and every time I'd go check for my blood work, they'd be like, mbona unaita mashida na uko sawa? Uko sawa? I'm like, okay, I'm actually fine, and this baby is fine. So the issue that I had was in my mind. Why? Because I hadn't dealt with the loss that I had before, and I had a lot of anxiety. through the pregnancy, most of the pregnancy, I had a lot of anxiety. I did have a medical emergency at some point, where I went. I think the baby was how pregnant was I? I was in my second trimester. I think the early stages, and then I went. I remember that day I was getting ready to go again for another performance in Kisumu, and it was a Sunday. And my husband was already in Kisumu, so I was supposed to join them. And I said, okay, now I'm getting ready to go. Let me first use the bathroom, and then I go park, I go to the bathroom and I see blood. I said, God, I was 20 weeks, I've remembered. I was 20 weeks.
Like, no.
I'm like, yani unanifikisha hapa. I was shaking. I was so scared. So I'm alone with my second born. My first born had gone to church. I'm alone with my second born. I call my neighbor. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know if you're going to stay with Nyakeo, I go to hospital, or how this is going to, but I need help. And she came to my house, and I'm just like, I'm just crying, and I'm like, I'm angry, and I'm scared, and I'm like, what is going on? And so what my neighbor did is she called her older child, who was by then maybe 15, 16. She told her, watch, Nyakeo, this one can't drive. She said, this one I'm taking to hospital. So I thank God for great neighbors. So Tracy, my neighbor, took me to hospital. And I did not care who was seeing me. I was just crying. I'm like, man, Yani, I can't believe. I was angry at God. I was like, Yani, you get me to 20 weeks. And you take this child. I literally was saying, no, I refuse. So I go, Pole, I'm a very emotional chick.
You're looking me emotional also.
So I'm in Nairobi hospital, bawling my eyes out. And so the first thing, so of course what we needed to do was to go to the, an ultrasound. So I go to the ultrasound, and I'm like, I'm just crying at the ultrasound. Niko hapo, like I'm lying down, my neighbor Tracy is there, and I just can't help it. I just cry because I'm like, I've done this before. And I remember they were telling me, no heartbeat. I'm like, I can't do this. I can. No heartbeat, I can. So the guy puts the whatever, the gel, then he's there. And my eyes are closed at this time because I'm like, I can't look at the screen. I don't know what to do, but I have to do the test. And then I just hear, do.
And then you cried some more.
I cried now for joy. Now I'm crying out of joy now at that point. Paka, the guy who's doing the ultrasound, is telling me, unastua mtoto. Pachagulia, unastua mtoto. So he's like, your baby is fine. Like, you're bleeding because I think the place where the placenta had attached, ilikuwa chini. I can't remember the term for it.
The previa.
Yes.
Placenta previa.
The
placenta previa.
Placenta previa, yes, ilikuwa chini. So she's like, she's attached low, but it's attached. Yeah? So, and the good thing again about even if it was low, what the doctor was telling me, as the pregnancy grows in a songa, the placenta will move up. So I'm like, what? We are good. She's like, yeah, you just need to rest. Like, just don't perform, chill. Oguto's like, ulikuwa unaenda wapi? Hizo cancel zote. Hakuna mahali unaenda na sitaki kukuona hata ukitembea in Nairobi. Just chill until I tell you you're good. So ciao. So that's the one scary moment I had, which I remember I was like acting like a crazy woman because I was shouting, no, I refuse. And I'm angry. But I thank God that everything went okay. Yeah.
What of her birth?
Oh, that was the other dramatic one, her birth. So what happened is, so So during the whole pregnancy, I remember one of my biggest concerns was my daughter, my kids had been praying for a child, a last born. Yeah, they had been praying. And I literally even remember some years back, now I can laugh about it. So I would hear them in their room, "Dear God, please give us a baby." Yeah, and then I remember my older child telling my second born, I don't think it's going to happen. Mom is too old. She's too old. She can't do it. So she kept quiet. So they stopped praying. You only give up. Mama amezeka sasa hawezi. So I knew they really wanted. In as much as they had stopped praying, it didn't mean that they didn't. Excuse me. They didn't want a sibling. They were just worried. Because I also didn't want them, I was here. I remember I'm also worried the whole time. I'm like, I could go and then something happened. So I kept it as secret as much as I could. And so here's the thing about having old. I remember my 16-year-old, that time she was 16 to me, so my firstborn. So she saw me coming home with this big thing from the hospital, the x-rays and whatever, and the little one had already told her before that Mother was crying and she went to hospital. She's like, "Oh crap, what is going on?" And then when I come home, she's like, "Mom, what's going on?" She's like, and then I say nothing. The reason why I was telling her nothing is because I didn't want to excite her because I was scared something would still happen and I was invisible by that time. To me, so nani? To me, so nakuwa investigator number one. And that's what I know. I need to be locking my phone. WhatsApp groups, which WhatsApp? She talks to her sisters, she talks to whatever. She started seeing there's a conversation about a baby. So she literally came to my room and told me, "Mom, I know you're pregnant." She's 16 at that point. She's like, "I know you're pregnant. I just want to know, is the baby okay?" And I said, "Okay, this is a different kind of conversation." She's like, "Yeah, don't hide things from me. Tell me so that I know also." And so I told her, "The baby's fine. We have a bit of a nini. I just need to rest." So I was worried. So my littler one, she was by then, I think she was 9. I said, "This one is very emotional. She's like me." Yeah. So I said, "I don't want to tell her." So I told to me, "So let's keep it from Nyakel for now, because I don't know if she can handle if anything happens. But also let's pray." So that was my reason for not telling her. But eventually, of course, I had to tell Nyakio, and she was so excited. Now, the time for delivery, the 3rd trimester, I remember, I don't know even when my EDD, like the doctors are telling me, I'm like, I don't know when was your last period? I don't know, because I wasn't expecting to be pregnant. And so I remember I had been given an EDD of, I can't remember when, it was October, late October. But at some point I kept feeling this baby needs to come earlier. I couldn't explain. And so I went to Ogutu. I told him, whether it's my mental state or whatever it is, I can't wait until EDD. And at that point, we had moved quite along. Yeah, and he said, "Let's schedule a delivery for next week." And I said, yeah, my spirit felt comfortable with that decision. It was a Monday, I remember. We were talking the week previously, and we both said, let's schedule for Monday. And I said, that my spirit feels good. What was interesting is when I checked in the Sunday before, I was feeling so many flutters in my stomach. Yeah? And I'm like, I like this because at least I know the baby is fine. And then she was very busy, she was very active and whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I'm glad that we are okay. Remember, now we are going for an elective, right? And so I remember I was to check in on Sunday night or early Monday morning. So I've packed my 2 things. She's still fluttering the whole time. I'm like, "Uyu mbona kona nini sana." We've gone to Nairobi Hospital in the middle of the night at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. so that they can now do whatever they needed to do. And I check into is it maternity or labor? I don't know. They check you into the labor ward. So I'm there with the nurse, so she's supposed to induce me, yeah? But she looks at me and she says, but you're already 4 centimeters dilated. I'm like, nilikuwa labor. She's like, yeah, you're in labor. I'm like, wait, what are we even saying? So what was interesting is, it was almost like me and her agreed that this is my birthday, you know, because I was given an EDD of like 2 or 3 weeks after. But she was like, this is my birthday. This is the day I'm being born. So I didn't need to be induced. The nurse just did this. I think they normally do I didn't need any tablet or anything. So she just did whatever she did, and then it triggered now proper labor to onset and stuff like that. And now, what was about her, my labor was very fast. So all my labors are usually not prolonged. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So I'm here. The labor has moved quite quickly. Thankfully, my doctor was on call. He was called. He is on the way. Yeah, he's coming, Prof. So now we are here with him. We are talking because I did an epidural, so my labor was not. I wasn't feeling it. But at some point he stops talking to me, and I'm like,
what's happening?
Okay, Prof. Then he's like, I can't see a heartbeat. I can't hear a heart. I can't see. Like, in the labor ward, you're hearing do-do, 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 do-do. Like, there are many noises. So at some point, there's no heartbeat. So I'm like, I keep quiet. I'm looking at Prof. Then he's feeling, he's trying to feel, no heartbeat. Even the nurse is looking, I'm like, I don't like this vibe. So I asked Prof, what's going on? What's going on? My pediatrician at that point has not yet come. So Prof is the one in the room. He's trying to feel there's no heartbeat. Yeah? I'm like, God, what the heck is going on? Yeah? He starts to now move around. He's like, I've not even gotten to the delivery room. He's like, I need gloves now. Give me gloves. I remember he only had one glove. Then he's looking for another glove. My husband handed him another glove. He's put my legs. He's like, I need you to push. I'm like, what is going on? And so, I can't feel my legs. So he's like, when I tell you to push, you will push with everything that you have. And so I push, yeah? And I don't hear a cry. She didn't cry. I couldn't even look down. I was just like this because I saw from the corner of my like somewhere I could see dark, like I couldn't look. Yeah? Like something has come out, it's dark, but my baby's not crying. And then Doc I'm just seeing him doing something with his hand, like this. And I'm like, at this point, I'm shaking uncontrollably. Like, why is my baby not crying? I'm screaming, I'm shaking. Doc does this, he cuts the cord and he rushes out with the baby because, remember, we're in the labor, we didn't make it to the delivery room. So he has to go do whatever he needs to do in the delivery room. At this point, I'm crying. And I'm like, God, what is going on again? Like, I've heard these stories of babies passing at delivery. I'm like, I just remember looking up and I'm crying like this. And I couldn't hear a noise. I don't know, it felt like forever. And then after a few minutes, I started hearing from far over there. My sister was in that room with me, and she had followed the doctor to go. My husband didn't know whether to follow the doctor or to stay with me. So my sister had gone, and she comes back. Even her, she was crying. She's like, that's Shiro. Can you hear her? That's Shiro. She's fine. So now we are all crying again. I'm like, what? So the pregnancy was fine until that point also. I'm like, my God, God bless doctors. God bless, because It just takes a moment. It just takes a moment of someone not knowing what to do. You don't know what to do, and you can impair this child or lose this child at a point where this child does not need to be impaired for life or to die. So I thank God for everybody who was in that room, including Dr. Rain, who was on call at that time. So I thank God that they were all there and they were able to help. And Shiro is now 2.5 years old. Yeah.
How has this experience changed or affected your outlook in life as a parent, as a mom?
So first of all, let's just be clear, I'm not getting pregnant again. Okay, I'm not doing that.
Anxiety was enough.
What I am personally, I don't know about other people, but me, nimefunga. I keep seeing people online saying, now just try for a boy. God will bless. I'm like, listen, if you want a boy, by all means try. I am so happy with my 3 girls. Like, I'm good. Yeah? And the funny thing is, like, Dr. Mutinda, when I was talking with her, and I was telling her, oh, I'm old, so I'm worried about my child. She told me, hello, there was a woman here who was 55, and she gave birth to a child. I'm like, excuse me? At 55, you can still give birth. So that is great, but personally, I'm okay. Yeah, and may that blessing go to someone else. Yeah, so I'm good. I think as a parent now, I'm so calm. I think also maybe because I have an older child. My firstborn is now a young adult, she's turning 19, and just the other day she was a baby. Literally the other day she was a baby, like I was burping her. And seeing how quick that time goes, it's 19 years, but it genuinely, with hindsight, it goes by so fast. I'm appreciating the moments. I'm waking up very intentional about appreciating this moment. Appreciate when she's running around the house, when she's broken something, when she cuddles you. Like yesterday, she was giving, like I was telling my husband this morning, like she cuddles you, paka her face is here in your, like you're breathing the same air, like you're in each other. Like she wants to feel you. She holds your neck, she holds your ears, and then she says, "Are you my friend?" I'm like, "Yes, baby, I'm your friend. Are you my friend?" Like these moments are so beautiful, and I'm not in a rush. With my firstborn, I remember I'm like, I want to, when is she going to start doing this? When is she going to go to school? When is she going to what? Now I'm like, let's enjoy this moment. Oh my God, the first tooth has come. Oh, I'm not in a rush. I'm not hurrying her up. I'm saying, these moments go by so quick. Well, she's asking me, "Are you my friend?" And then she says, she's like, "Come." She likes to say, it's our joke now in the house. She's like, "Let's go together. Let's do this together. Let's do together." I'm like, soon she's going to grow up and we'll have a different kind of relationship. But this right here, this is what makes life. I think when I was younger, when I had Tumiso, I don't know if it is a point I was trying to prove to myself and to the world, like, I'm superwoman, I can do it, like, I bounce back, I do what, I'm back at work, I'm back at what. I'm like, listen, you know what really matters is this moment where we are doing what? Kalongolongo with mud, and she's dirty. I'm like, that dirty baby, it's a sign of a happy baby. No, don't wipe the jam. She wants to experiment so I like to put it on my stories. She's putting ati ameweka carrots juice na sijui Weetabix. Okay, wacha tuone kama atakula. Let's see. I'm like, these moments, but also I think I appreciate so much more the importance of 0 to 5 in terms of mental development, in terms of brain development. What does the baby need right now? She doesn't need to know 1 + 1. She doesn't need to know how to color in the line. She doesn't need to be perfect. She doesn't say, oh, my baby is now going to school. What she needs to know is she's loved, she's accepted unconditionally, not only when she does the right thing. She needs to know she's wanted. She needs to feel she's allowed to make mistakes. She needs to know that this is my family and they've got my back. School will happen. All these other things will happen. In fact, I don't know why they insist on the baby needs to draw inside the line. No, you be yourself. We'll draw in the line when you understand what that even matters, you know. So I think I also appreciate the importance of this early development and what really matters in terms of the development of the human. You know, a lot of self-esteem issues we have, a lot of these other challenges we have is because at that time, you are not allowed to express yourself. You are not allowed to show the world your colors, you know. Yeah.
Is there anything you wish you had known prior to this pregnancy?
Being pregnant in my mid-40s, first of all, I feel like a lot of women, now with the benefit of hindsight and even now, I'm trying to find the right word, but almost like, we normalized it. Like a lot of women were in my DM and talking to me and saying, wow, you mean it's possible? Because there's not the narrative of it's not possible. Or if you do, you'll get a child with a problem. Or, oh my God, old women don't do that. Like, please, you know. There's so many things that I feel are unfortunate that women carry this secret burden or this secret problem. When I was pregnant, I remember meeting so many women who are saying, thank you for making me feel like it's okay for me to have a baby. Some people were like, they're 38 and they're feeling old. I'm like, my friend, you're only 38. You're only 38. Only. Me, I got pregnant in my mid-40s. So release yourself. So I wish I knew that so that I can be gentler to myself and be easier with myself and give myself more hope. Yeah. Definitely harder, but possible. I remember when I was told premenopausal, me, I'm like, okay. Ishafika. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the things I'm reading. I need to eat right, sleep more, drink more water. Those were the things I was doing because they are supposed to support your journey in this phase. But I also feel like those same things created the right environment for me to get pregnant. You know, I feel like they are part of the reason, apart from also God's goodness, yeah? I was working out like crazy. I was eating right. I was sleeping. I was doing all those things because I'm perimenopausal. But, and I don't want to say that is the reason why. Because I really don't know. I feel like God was just also gracious to me, but I think it helps. So I would have given myself more grace. I would have been less sad because there's always that thing of I really wanted 3 children. In fact, when I'd see a woman carrying her 3rd pregnancy, I'd feel sad. Not first or second, 3rd, because I really wanted. So I would have been gentler to myself if I would have known that it is possible.
What would you tell a woman or women thinking about a baby, particularly about taking the NIPT test and knowing that early in pregnancy about what's happening?
Like I said, I feel in a 3rd world country where healthcare has a long way to go, let's be honest. And also financially, a lot of us, you know, it is a challenge. Finances are a challenge. And because finances are a challenge, is even more reason why this test needs to, at the very least, be made affordable. At the very least, if not free, because life is too expensive. Life is too expensive. So you need, like, I empathize so much with people who are unable, and that's probably 99% of Kenya's women who can't afford. Like, if something could be done to make it more accessible, this test, the NIPT test, to be made more accessible to women, whether affordable or free, so that you can make an informed decision. Is this something I'm ready to do, or is my baby fine? So I would, if you're in a position to, I would definitely encourage you to. I wish that the government and anybody else who's involved in that decision-making process could also see how ultimately this affects everything. Yeah.
How is life now?
Motherhood is probably the best thing that happened to me. I still look at Shiro and say, I still can't believe you're here. I'm here with a small, very rowdy, very rowdy, but absolutely adorable little girl at my age. And it is such a blessing. I think it has given me a new lease of life. Like, I cannot afford to slow down. I have to find a second wave, because this child is going to need me in my 60s. This child is going to need me in my 70s. So I need to eat right. I need to make sure I'm healthy. I need to at least do my best. There's some things that are out of our control, but I need to work intentionally around being healthy and being present, because she's going to need me. So it's given us, my husband as well, a new lease of life. And she's brought so much joy to our family. And I personally feel this is the best time of my life.
And it's a prayer answered for everyone in the family.
Everybody, yes.
Wahu's vulnerability, courage, and honesty are a gift to anyone who has walked this path or supported somebody who has. This conversation has been tender, powerful, and so important. Thank you, Wahu, for sharing your pregnancy experience and your mommy journey.
Yeah.
For making us cry.
I'm sorry.
Follow us for more content like this on Willow Health Media on all our social media platforms. I'm Dr. Mercy Korir.